There is a very well-known dispute, which Rashi cites, it's in the Talmud and various Midrashim, why the Torah mentions that Noach was righteous in his generations. What exactly does it mean about the generations? There are more than two interpretations of this, by the way, in the later commentaries. For instance, Ramban offers his own interpretation, but I'm just talking about the two opinions found in the Talmud and in the Midrashim. And that is, one opinion is that he was so great despite his terrible generations. While his generation was absolutely awful, he was incredibly righteous. But the other opinion says that according to the generation is his level here mentioned, meaning he wasn't necessarily so righteous compared to the good generations, but out of the horrible generation of his, he was more righteous than everybody in his generation. So he was righteous comparatively. And I think it's very important, this opinion. And in a lot of cases, when we find two opinions, they may not necessarily contradict each other fully, or at least they can offer us two approaches that are complementary in a certain sense. Not necessarily in this case, but at the very least, every opinion here has a point. And that is that a lot of times Hashem judges people according to their surroundings. Today, for instance, there is a very strong Yetzer Hara for all kinds of indecent acts, all kinds of forbidden relations being promoted as normal. Everything that used to be, I mean, if you even lived, let's say, 100 years ago in America, right? The society was very, what is called Puritan, right? It was the mostly Christians who were very religious, and things that were inappropriate usually were judged by the society. And people were ashamed to do a lot of things. So it doesn't mean that these things didn't exist, but they existed in a secret. It wasn't a type of Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, calling from every corner. The way that Sefer Mishlei, right, the book of Proverbs, describes this harlot that is trying to entice, this kind of thing, that a person who really wanted to have forbidden relations, he could find himself a way, but it wasn't something that was available so easily. It wasn't as promoted as today. So at that time, people were judged according to that generation. Today, when there are just so many temptations and it's just so difficult to withstand, so anybody who is at the very least trying and not falling all the way down is considered relatively righteous, right? That person is still much better than the society around him or her. I mean, there's more, I guess, enticement for men in this case, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can't judge. Everybody has their own Yetzer Hara. The point is that today the temptations are much greater. The possibilities for sinning are much easier. There is absolutely no almost no condemnation from anybody. The opposite. I mean, could you imagine, let's say, 100 years ago, that there would be even I think the president who would be divorced would probably not be likely to be elected. The people who were elected had to have at least a reputation, not necessarily that they were so righteous, but at least the reputation had to be that they're righteous and that they have their family people. A person who would, let's say, be known to have committed adultery is very unlikely that the society 100 years ago would elect him as president of the United States of America. Right? Today, nobody really cares. None of this is of any importance whatsoever. So, therefore, anybody who tries to withstand the general tendencies and tries, at least sincerely tries, is considered relatively righteous. Right? At some point, Noach was saved because he was more righteous than his generation. So everything is comparative. Everything is relative. I must add here that what the Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of Fathers, tells us, that don't judge anybody until you're in his place. So I think what it means, among other things, is that there are also inside Yetzer Hara, the internal evil inclination that is different for different people. So we can never judge other people because we really don't know what kind of midot, what kind of qualities they have. For example, let's say a person is naturally not very envious. There are people like that, plenty of people who are not naturally envious. And then there are people who are naturally, at least from early childhood, they feel envy for everything they see others have. And it's very difficult for these people. Some people are incredibly stingy. It's very hard for them to give tzedakah, for instance, or to spend money on mitzvot. Some mitzvot require quite a bit of money, right? Expensive mezuzah. So they try to save on everything, try to buy the cheapest, not necessarily the most kosher. So it's hard for these people. We cannot really judge anybody because other people may have temptations we don't have. Some people naturally are very generous. It's easy for them to love others. It's easy for them to wish others good. And other people are not like that. And it's not necessarily fully their fault. They have to work on themselves. But, for a person who has difficult midot, difficult qualities, to accomplish even a little bit is more precious in Hashem's eyes than a person who has excellent qualities and doesn't accomplish as much as he could have, even though he's much better on a scale of objective accomplishments. The second person might give more to tzedakah, may be a nicer person, but because this person has good midot, and only Hashem knows who has better or worse qualities. So, therefore, this person is judged much more severely. In fact, the Vilna Gaon writes exactly what I just said. He compares the nefesh of a person, the lower part of the soul, to the horse, and the raida is the ruach. The main part of the person is his spirit, what's called ruach. And he says that sometimes the raida has a very bad horse, a person who is born with very difficult midot, very difficult qualities. And Hashem is very kind to this person. He judges him according to his abilities. So even if this person falls many times and doesn't always do the right thing, but because his temptations are so great and only Hashem knows his true temptations, so Hashem will be kind to this. So sometimes we don't understand why one person Hashem may judge stricter than another, but then only Hashem knows that the second person may have had greater difficulties, and therefore he judges him very softly. And the first person may be with wonderful midot. He's naturally inclined to do good. So therefore, there's a lot more that Hashem asks of this individual. So that's why we can never really judge other people, because we really have no idea how hard it is for others. So besides the external temptations that are different in different generations and in different places, on top of it, internal temptations are different for different people. So we should really only judge ourselves. We should try to work on ourselves, and despite the difficult Yetzer Hara, the external Yetzer Hara, the temptations from outside, and the internal Yetzer Hara, whatever we have, the qualities we have, all of that we have to work on, and step by step. Again, we're not necessarily going to accomplish everything at once, but we have to at least try. We could at least try to make ourselves somewhat better. And if you like this video, please press like.